engaged in the service of the Lord. And that's what.
Master of all senses.
Hmm?
We say that Rishikesh, right? Master of all senses.
Hmm.
So means engaging all our senses in the service of the Lord, who is the master of all senses.
Hmm. And
And
remembrance is based on whatever we do throughout our day, like whatever we think about. That's what we remember during Japa also, right? So if we are in devotional consciousness, then Japa will be also nice. Yeah, Shravanam Kirtanam is good, then it's Smaranam is good. After Shravanam Kirtanam comes Smaranam, right? So Shravanam Kirtanam has to be nice. Then Smaranam will be good. Okay, so that's, yeah, you were saying something. Sorry.
no, you already said it.
Okay. All right. So the next verse we'll read. Does Charuta like to say anything? Sunil Charuta.
No, Prabhu, this is all is good. Yeah.
So it's a practice. We should not get discouraged, right? So if our mind, yeah, goes, Krishna says, Yato yato nischalati manas chanchalam astiram tatas tato niyamita atmani eva vasham nayat. He says, from wherever and wherever the mind wanders, bring it back under the control of the self. Right? So that's basically. So intelligence is to the mind what mother is to a child. So intelligence actually basically directs the mind. Like in the third chapter of Bhagavad Gita, also Krishna says, Evam buddhe param buddhva sanstapya atmana atmana jahi shatrum mahabaho kama rupa durasadam. If I said that correctly. He says, by deliberate spiritual intelligence, one should steady the mind. He says, by deliberate spiritual intelligence. I think the last verse of the third chapter. One should steady the.
Yeah, he's in this verse. Translation is saying that knowing oneself, that yeah, I mean, he says that yeah, one should steady the mind by deliberate spiritual intelligence, and by this one can conquer the Jahi Shatrum, the insatiable enemy, that is lust.
Yeah. But we know that mind takes away our intelligence also. So mind is very strong. So so that's why we have to practice. Practice makes perfect also. So chanting Hare Krishna. Every day 2 hours we are controlling, right? Our mind. We are trying to bring it back to the holy name. So it's a practice. So when you practice 2 hours every day something, then you are supposed to become good at it as time goes on. Like if I practice tennis every day for 2 hours, then after a few days I'll become very good at tennis, right? Because I'm doing it every day. So so mind control is also like that. It requires practice. That's what Krishna says. Asanshayam mahabaho manodurdigraham chalam abhyasena tu kantiya vairagyena chakriyate. It's very difficult. Undoubtedly, Krishna is saying yes. But it is by suitable practice and detachment. So that way, control the mind. So that practice is this chanting of Hare Krishna. In that, one of the purports Prabhupada writes, the easiest way to control the mind is to chant Hare Krishna in all humility. So basically, crying out to the Lord and yeah, like that. Then that's the easiest way, he says, to control the mind. Okay. So the whole thing, yoga process, is to bring mind to Krishna, basically. So that at the end of life, it's our mind that takes us to our next body. The subtle body takes the soul to the next body. So we have to practice remembering Krishna. Yeah.
Prabhu, what is the role of breath? Human breathing. I think there is a verse in the Bhagavad Gita.
Hmm.
They say that the human breath is like a connection between the real body and the subtle body, like the mind. If you can control the breath, you can control the mind. They say that. But I forgot the number, the verse.
Yeah,
Which
that is
verse is that?
in Ashtanga Yoga, that is the practice, the pranayam, like that yam niyam asan. Pranayam means you control your breathing. So we also sometimes say, right, if you are very agitated, take 2, 3 deep breaths. Like in yoga, they say, like all this yoga teachers, they are saying, take a deep breath, hold it for some time, then bring it out, like that. So breath, breathing also, if we are very disturbed, where when we are very angry, then our breathing is also very quick. So devotees do some pranayam also before chanting. Sometimes some devotees do some pranayam. So by that pranayam, then what happens is that your mind becomes calm, and you can, it helps. So, but yeah, in Ashtanga Yoga they do that pranayam and then they try to bring the senses inward. But here we are focusing senses on Krishna. So that's the difference. And eventually they also in samadhi, when they go to samadhi, their goal is to see Krishna in the heart. In the Bhagavatam also this says, Dhyana avastita tad katena manasa pashyanti yam yogino. So they are in dhyan and ultimately they see, they are, want to see the super soul in the heart. So like that. Hmm. So yeah, breathing can help control the mind.
Yeah, it is interesting, how the breath is like connecting the subtle body to the real, the physical body. And once the breath stops, like once person is passed away, there is no breath. So the subtle body like will leave the physical body because there is no breath anymore.
Yes. Yeah, they say the soul escapes with the out. There are 5 different kinds of breath, right? Incoming breath, outgoing breath. So the soul is held in the different life airs, and when death happens, then it escapes with the pranvayu, pran, uh, the, yeah, the outgoing breath, the, the soul
But
escapes.
the mind also goes with the soul, right? The which is the
Yeah,
subtle body.
the subtle body is correct. So the mind takes us to our next destination, depending on our. Krishna says that yam yam vapi smaran bhavam tejanti yanti kalam vyaram tam tam eveti konteya sadatat bhava bhavita. Whatever your smaran and all these things, according to that, get our destination. So we are supposed to think of Krishna more and more.
Yeah, just one more point, Prabhu. Like they say that the strong body. How we some people are proud of the strong body. We can see muscular. The same way, it seems it's the strong mind is very important. Which we cannot see,
Mm,
and sometimes there is a connection. Like sometimes strong body will also help you with a strong mind. Vice versa. So
mm. Yeah,
like I
sometimes.
don't know what the strong mind definition is. Like yeah, you're like sthira or something. You can.
Sthita pragya. Sthita pragya means fixed on the goal, right? That is strong, less distraction, but you can have a strong body and a weak mind also. So there were many kings, they said, right? Before they were very strong and they could defeat thousands of warriors on the battlefield. But when it comes to controlling the senses, they're very weak. So that is only possible by the grace of the Lord. So Krishna consciousness, that's possible. Otherwise, many yogis were trying to control. They say like that, but they're not successful. So it's difficult to control the mind. Okay. Like in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna, Arjuna says, Chanchalam hi mana Krishna, pramathi balavad dridam, tasyaham nigraham manye vayuri vasu dushkaram. Oh, it is more difficult than controlling the wind because the mind is chanchala. Pramathi, it is very agitating. Balavad, very strong. And dridam, very determined. So those who have strong willpower, sometimes we say he has a very strong willpower, means they have very much, their mind is very much under their control. They do whatever they want to do. They have strong willpower. So, so we have to have strong willpower to practice Krishna consciousness. Like this strong determination. Like there was this story that Prabhupada tells about the sparrow whose eggs were stolen by the ocean, or she had laid eggs on the bank of the ocean, and some of the waves came and the eggs went into the ocean. And she was very determined to get her eggs back. So she was emptying the ocean with her beak, drop by drop. But she can't do it. Then Garuda came like that. So strong determination is very much essential to bind Krishna in Yashoda's pastime. Also, we see that Haridas Thakur also had a strong determination when he was caught, and they said, "Stop chanting, otherwise we'll flog you publicly in so many marketplaces." And then he said, "No, no, no, I cannot stop." Of course, the determination also, because there is taste, so there is determination. They have a lot of taste, so there is determination that comes from taste, having taste. But for our at our level, we may not have that much taste, so we have to force the mind. Like in some purport, Prabhupada says, right? In the We have to force the mind to think of Krishna. Huh? The mind is fickle, here he says, and therefore it is necessary to engage the mind by force to think of Krishna. So I can please. I like this statement.
I think it's 8.8.
8.8, yeah. So that is called sadhana bhakti, right? So we have to tame the wild mind. The mind is wild. So taming a wild animal requires some effort. Okay. So we are on which verse? We are on 8 point. I lost the thing.
And we often say that, Prabhu, that water has a tendency to go down, right? If you want to put the water or on the up the hill, so
Mm-hmm.
one has to try to put some more effort. So
Yes.
similarly, like in the many lifetimes, our being in the contact with the materialism, we it's our tendency to fall down, right? So we now one has to, like, as a sadhaka is trying to up and try to practice, and one has to do more practice, right? More force, that you are saying that one has to force the mind initially. So yeah.
Yeah. So initially, my mind may not comply, but then when you're forcing, then the mind will start cooperating, and like that. And when we get higher taste, like there's a cost of temptation, COST. So C stands for conviction, O stands for openness, how we can discuss with others, how to control our mind and get some guidance. S means you have to be in a safe situation where you don't want to be in a situation which will tempt your mind to do things which are not. And T means taste. So this is from Keshu Maharaj. He was saying cost of it. So we have to be convinced about the goal of life. So all these
And
things
the
we get.
same mind, in sixth chapter Bhagavad Gita also says that, like Krishna has said that one who has conquered the mind, the same mind become the best of friends.
Hmm.
And if it's failed to conquer, then it will remain a greatest enemy. So yeah,
Yeah.
initially it seems like a poison. It seems like an enemy that we are trying. Mind is not cooperating or controlling, but with practice, as they said, practice and detachment, one become this same mind becomes a best friend and become a reason to deliver from this ocean of birth and death.
Yeah. Uddharedatmana atmanam natmanam vashadayet. Atmeva hi
Atmeva hi atmano,
Atmeva
atmeva hi puratmana. Yeah.
Uddhared. So Uddhar means one should do good for oneself by the mind, not Natmanam Vashade, not degrade. Atmaiva Atmano Bandhur means is the friend of the Bandhu. Otherwise, Atmaiva Ripur Atmana. Sometimes Atma is used for body, mind, and soul. It's actually Atma is soul, but here in this verse, there is yeah, it's used for the soul and the mind. Yeah. Okay, so next verse we'll read. So, in many verses on the mind in the Bhagavad Gita, I was thinking Chitatmana Prashantatma, right? What is that? Chitatma, one who has conquered the mind,
जितात्मन प्रशान्तस्य परमात्मा समाहित
Samadhita.
शीतोषण सुख दुःखेषु तथा मानपमानयो. For one who has conquered, they reach the super soul already. And Sitoshan, so to attain the tranquility, to such a man is not bewildered by happiness and distress and honor, dishonor.
Correct. Okay. And
If
mind.
you're saying something, Prabhu, we can hear you.
No, no, I'm just thinking. I was just thinking. I was saying that the mind can be cultivated in whichever way we want, right? So, like people who smoke, right? They get taste for smoking. So, I mean, that urge to smoke and all these things, you can cultivate, you can develop a desire by association. So, basically, we can cultivate the mind the way we want. It's in our hand. So, how we, what activities we do, and what we take interest in. Based on that, the mind gets cultivated in a certain way. So, like if we chant Hare Krishna, then maybe the mind will start liking chanting Hare Krishna like that. Or if we start like reading scriptures, the mind will start liking. If we do this practice, then after some time it starts liking it. So just as bad habits, also you start liking it, right? After some time, you do a bad thing, then it starts liking it. So similarly, good things, if you do, the mind will start liking that also. So how we cultivate our mind is up to us. In which direction, that's determining our life, where the soul will go. Okay. So next verse. Om itya ekaksharam brahma vyaharan mam anusmaran ya prayati tyajandeham sayati paramam gatim. After being situated in this yoga practice and vibrating this sacred syllable Om, the supreme combination of letters, Om, if one thinks of the supreme personality of God and quits his body, he will certainly reach the spiritual planets. So Om, I think one represents Radharani, uh, one represents Krishna, and one represents the living entity in the Om. I think Prabhupada writes in that someplace. Uh, Let me see where it's. It represents the three aspects of absolute truth. A, U, and Ma. A represents Supreme Personality of Godhead, and also U it sometimes says represents Lord Shiva who maintains and destroys, and M represents Brahma. Other place somewhere it says different also. Okay. So Om is basically Krishna, representation of Krishna. It is clearly stated here that Om, Brahman and Lord Krishna are not different. The impersonal sound of Krishna is Om, but the sound Hare Krishna contains Om. The chanting of Hare Krishna mantra is clearly recommended for this age. Narad Muni, I think, asked Brahma, how can people in this Kali Yuga be delivered? And then he said this, Iti Shodashakam Nam Nam Kali Kalmashanashanam Nato Paratarupaya Sarva Vedeshu Drishyate. This is the 16 words. So the chanting of Hare Krishna mantra is clearly recommended for this age. So if one quits his body at the end of life chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, he certainly reaches one of the spiritual planets according to the mode of his practice. Just 1 minute. Hello? Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I'll check. I'm on the call. Okay. Hare Krishna. The impersonal sound of Krishna is Om, but the sound Hare Krishna contains Om. The chanting of Hare Krishna mantra is clearly recommended for this age. So if one quits his body at the end of life chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, he certainly reaches one of the spiritual planets according to the mode of his practice. The devotees of Krishna means whoever is attached to which form of the Lord. The devotees of Krishna entered the Krishna planet, Golok Vrindavan. For the personalists, there are also innumerable other planets known as Vaikuntha planets in the spiritual sky, whereas the impersonalists remain in the Brahma Jyoti. Again, the important principle is Ma Manusmara. So it says Ma Manusmaran. Practice yoga, practice celibacy, chant Om, and remember Krishna. Having explained the practices of Yoga Mishra Bhakti, or how one attached to yoga and liberation can remember him, Krishna next discusses pure devotional service. Any comments, anybody else?
Prabhuji, when you said like Om has three different things, right? Would that refer to, I don't know, I'm asking like Jiva Tattva, Shakti Tattva, Vishnu Tattva, or that's different?
Yeah, we have the Trinity, right? So uh, sometimes it's, let me see where exactly Prabhupada says this. So it represents, A represents Krishna, the Supreme Lord. U represents the material energy. And Ma, U, Ma, like that. Om is like that. It's made of U, and Ma. The living entity or the Jiva or the individual soul. So that is where. So there is Krishna, there is the material energy, and there is the Jiva. Everything, all the existence is there. The Supreme Lord, the material energy, the living entity. So Om represents everything like that. And then another way it says, right, Om also represents, or represents Lord Vishnu, who represents Lord Shiva, who maintains and who destroys basically, and Ma represents the Creator. So Om includes all material and spiritual energies. So that way also
Thank
it
you,
is.
Prabhuji.
Yeah. But Prabhupada says Hare Krishna mantra includes Om also. So, and much more. The personal form of the Lord, like that. Some he says. Generally, the impersonalists they chant Om. So, which is also the representation of Krishna, the energy of the. Okay, so the next verse. Ananya chetah satatam yo mam smrati nityashah tasyaham sulabha partha nitya yuktasya yogina. For one who always remembers me without deviation, I am easy to obtain. Ananya chetaha. Chetaha means consciousness. Satatam means continuously. Ananya means exclusively. Anya means other. Ananya means without no other object. Exclusively. One whose consciousness is continuously focused on me. Yo mam smarati nityashaha. One who remembers me nityashaha. Regularly or continuously. Tasyaham sulabha partha. For that person, to him, tasya aham sulabha partha. I am very easy, sulabha partha. Nitya yuktasya yogina, because of his engagement. Yuktasya for yogina. Prabhupada has translated yogina as the devotee. So, because bhakti yogi is the highest yogi. For one who always remembers me without deviation, I am easy to obtain. O son of Pritha, because of his constant engagement in devotional service. This verse especially describes the final destination attained by the unalloyed devotees who serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead in Bhakti Yoga. Final destination attained by the unalloyed devotees. Unalloyed. This is a, I don't know if anywhere this word comes. Alloy means a mixture, right? Alloy is a mixture. Unalloyed means without any mixture. Those who practice pure devotion to Krishna. Pure devotees. They attain the final destination. This verse especially describes the final destination attained by the unalloyed devotees who serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead in Bhakti Yoga. Previous verses have mentioned four different kinds of devotees: the distressed, the inquisitive, those who seek material gain, and the speculative philosophers. What is that verse? Four kinds of people come to me. Krishna says, Chaturvida, Chaturvida,
Vidha bhajante va.
Jana Sukridino,
Jan, yeah,
Jana
हम
Sukridino,
चतुर
Artho Jigyasu Arthati, Gyanishcha
अजर अथो जिज्ञासु अर्थात was there. Yeah, अथो जिज्ञासु अर्थात ज्ञानी च भरतर्षभ.
Hmm.
Right?
Yeah. Different processes of liberation have also been described: Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, and Hatha Yoga. The principle of these yoga systems have some bhakti added, but this verse particularly mentions pure bhakti yoga without any mixture of jnana, karma, or hatha. As indicated by the word ananya chetaha, in pure bhakti yoga, the devotee desires nothing but Krishna. A pure devotee does not desire promotion to the heavenly planets, nor does he seek oneness with the Brahma Jyoti or salvation or liberation from material entanglement. A pure devotee does not desire anything. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita, the pure devotee is called Nishkam, which means he has no desire for self interest. Perfect peace belongs to him alone, not to them who strive for personal gain. Whereas a Jnana Yogi, Karma Yogi, or Hatha Yogi has his own selfish interest. A perfect devotee has no desire other than to please the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, the Lord says that for anyone who is unflinchingly devoted to Him, He is easy to attain. A pure devotee always engages in devotional service to Krishna in one of his various personal features. Krishna has various plenary expansions and incarnations such as Ram and Narasimha, and a devotee can choose to fix his mind in loving service to any of these transcendental forms of the Supreme Lord. Such a devotee meets with none of the problems that plague the practitioners of other yogas. Bhakti yoga is very simple and pure and easy to perform. One can begin simply by chanting Hare Krishna. The Lord is merciful to all, but as we have already explained, He is especially inclined towards those who always serve Him without deviation. Yeah, so just as somebody is totally faithful to you, right, then you will naturally have so much affection for that person. Somebody who is very faithful, like a dog, right? Dog is very faithful to its master. So, so in that way, if even any human being is completely faithful and very obedient, right, very loving towards you, then you will naturally feel very, what you can say, you feel that person is so dear to you. So same way, that quality is there in us, it's there in Krishna. So Krishna loves everybody, he's merciful to everybody, but is especially inclined towards those who always serve him without deviation. Means they are faithful to the Lord. Um, the Lord helps such devotees in various ways, as stated in Vedas, Katha Upanishad. Yam eveshe vrinute tena labhyas, tasyai sa atma vivrunute tanum swam. Just like if you have a servant who is very reliable, right? Always shows up whenever you call them. Right? Like in India, they employ the servants. One reason they they don't like somebody who's coming because they will give excuses. They will not come on time, and they will say today I cannot come, tomorrow I cannot come, like that. So then, let's say some household chores have to be done, and they make excuses. So then the person who is employing may not like them because always a excuse is some other excuse. So like they say, rain or shine, if somebody is always dedicated to the Lord, then such a person is loved by the Lord, right? Obviously, because they are very faithful, reliable, dependable. So the Lord also feels like that. Otherwise, sometimes we come and then sometimes we say, oh no, no, my today something else is more important today. So today I will not come for service. So the Lord is seeing that. Sometimes we come, then sometimes some family member comes and we say, no, no, today I cannot come, because my family, my friends have come. So today I cannot come. Of course, we are like that. So the Lord also knows, right? But the pure devotee will not, is unflinchingly, engaged in devotional service without any deviation. Rain or shine, that's what is a persistence and consistency in service to the Lord. Okay, so whatever our service, one who is fully surrendered and engaged in the devotional service of the Supreme Lord can understand the Supreme Lord as He is. Sometimes we think, yes, the Lord will understand, Is my because we don't want to feel we give something else the priority. So we think, yeah, yeah, the Lord will understand, it's not He also understands my situation. So yes, we have to be practical. Sometimes we say we have to be practical. We can't just do this like this. So yeah, so I think I was talking to Preeti and she was telling me that yes, we want Krishna, but we are not ready to give up so many other things which are, um, so it is not right. You are saying today, you're telling me that we want to have other desires also, which we are not.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes, Prabhu.
so like that. So we are not willing to give up so many things which is not favorable, but we want Krishna also. So that's why it's like we say we have our legs in two boats, one leg in this boat and one leg in that boat. So it is how our situation is. So here the Prabhupada says, Lord is merciful to all, but as we have already explained, He is especially inclined towards those who always serve Him without deviation. Means they don't deviate. The Lord helps such devotees in various ways. Okay. As stated in Vedas, yam evaishi vrinute tena labhyas tasyaisa atma vivrunute tanum swam. One who is fully surrendered and engaged in devotional service of the Supreme Lord can understand the Supreme Lord as He is. And as stated in Bhagavad Gita 10:10, Dadami buddhi yogam tam, the Lord gives such a devotee sufficient intelligence so that ultimately the devotee can attain Him in His spiritual kingdom. The special qualification of the pure devotee is that he is always thinking of Krishna without deviation and without considering the time or place. Like Prabhupada said, you can take me anywhere, I will speak Krishna Katha. Just like you take cow anywhere, it will give milk. Right? Of course, the calf has to be there. Or a typewriter. Even if you take the typewriter to heavenly planets, it will still do tuck, 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 tuck. Prabhupada was saying in one lecture like that. It will still type, right? Wherever it goes. So similarly, the pure devotee you take anywhere, wherever, whichever time, place, wherever you take him, he's always thinking of Krishna and how he has so much attachment to Krishna. And so the special qualification of pure devotee is that he's always thinking of Krishna without deviation and without considering the time or place. There should be no impediments. Like they tried to find some fault with Srila Prabhupada, where they could find some, where he was not actually Krishna conscious, and they could not find anything. All the time he was translating the books, he was speaking to guests, like he was writing correspondence, so many things. So that's a very advanced devotee. He should be able to carry out his service anywhere and at any time. And this service of chanting Hare Krishna, Prabhupada says, you can send me anywhere, but always remind me to chant Hare Krishna. So some say that a devotee should remain in holy places like Vrindavan or some holy town where the Lord lived. But a pure devotee can live anywhere and create the atmosphere of Vrindavan by his devotional service. So Prabhupada, they said, he came out of Vrindavan. You can take a pure devotee out of Vrindavan, but you cannot take Vrindavan out of pure devotee. Means in his heart he's carrying Vrindavan. So he can physically come out of Vrindavan, but in his heart he's carrying the Vrindavan, means that devotional service to Krishna. It was Sri Advaita who told Lord Chaitanya, wherever you are, O Lord, there is Vrindavan. This pastime happened when Lord Chaitanya had taken sannyas. And after taking sannyas, he wanted to go to Vrindavan. And all the devotees were upset that, oh, he's going to Vrindavan, we'll not see him again. So Nityananda Prabhu tricked him. He was on the way to Vrindavan, he was going, and he was completely in trance. So he kind of forgot the way. So he asked some cowherd boys who were there and who were previously informed by Lord Nityananda that if Lord Chaitanya asks you, so in one sense it's Leela. And Lord Chaitanya asked them, so which is the way to Vrindavan? The Nityananda Prabhu had told them, show them the other way to Shantipur. So when Lord Chaitanya then, instead of going to Vrindavan, uh, he went in the other direction because the cowherd boys misguided him, and he came to Shantipur where there is Ganga. And he thought he has come to Vrindavan. When he saw the Ganga, he thought it was Yamuna, and he has come to Vrindavan. And but then what happened? He saw Advaita Acharya who came on the boat because his house was there on the other side of the Ganges. So he said, how come you are in Vrindavan? I thought, so then Advaita Acharya said, wherever you are, that is Vrindavan. So, so wherever the pure devotee is, there Vrindavan is there because he's carrying Vrindavan in the heart. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So he said, oh Lord, wherever you are. As indicated by the words Satatam and Nityashaha, which means always, regularly, or every day, a pure devotee constantly remembers Krishna and meditates upon him. These are qualifications of the pure devotee, for whom the Lord is most easily attainable. Bhakti Yoga is the system that the Gita recommends above all others. Generally, the Bhakti yogis are engaged in five different ways. Shanta Bhakta, engaged in neutrality. Dasya Bhakta, engaged in as a servant. Sakhya Bhakta, engaged as a friend. Vatsalya Bhakta, engaged as a parent. Madhurya Bhakta, engaged as conjugal lover. In any of these ways, the pure devotee is always constantly engaged in the loving service, transcendental loving service of the Supreme Lord, and cannot forget the Supreme Lord. And so for him, the Lord is easily attained. A pure devotee cannot forget. So the question is, this is describing pure devotee, but how can we become pure devotee? Well, that is the question. How can we come to this consciousness? How? How can we come to this consciousness? By what is the way to become pure devotee? How did you all become pure devotees? What did you do?
To
By
get in
chanting
touch
Hare
with
Krishna.
pure devotees.
Huh?
To get in touch with the pure devotees.
Okay, that's one way to get the association.
Always remember Krishna and never forget Krishna.
Hmm. Yeah, that is the instruction. That is how we should be. But how you always remember Krishna and never forget Krishna?
By
Yeah, keep
chanting.
chanting. Hmm.
So you keep chanting all the time. So that's why you remember Krishna always. Never forget
Mm.
Krishna.
Hearing, Prabhuji, hearing helps a lot to remember Krishna.
Hearing. Yes.
For the 9 devotional
I mean, there is
processes,
a
right?
night. Yeah.
Okay. So that's how you all became pure devotees. A pure devotee cannot forget the Supreme Lord for a moment. And similarly, the Supreme Lord cannot forget his pure devotee for a moment. So it's reciprocal. Rukmini said, I cannot, I'm always remembering. Krishna said, yes, yes, I'm also remembering you always, just as you are remembering me. I cannot also sleep at night. So the Lord also cannot forget his pure devotee. There was a song long time back. Uh, what was that song? Bollywood song. मुझे नींद न आए मुझे चैन न आए, right? You might have heard that song. So uh,
We heard this, but I don't remember this one.
so yeah. Yeah, that was a song long time back when I used to be growing up. I think this song I used to hear many in India they play and everywhere different place. So, a pure devotee cannot forget the Supreme Lord for a moment, and similarly the Supreme Lord cannot forget his pure devotee for a moment. This is the great blessing of the Krishna conscious process of chanting the Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare. Prabhupada brings back to the chanting of the holy name. So this is the blessing. The chanting of Hare Krishna will bring us to that stage of remembering Krishna. Okay. Srila Prabhupada mentions in his purport that pure bhakti is indicated in this verse by the word ananya chetaha, without deviation of the mind. Okay. Ananya chetaha means undeviating, with no desire for heavenly pleasure or liberation. Can it be like that ever? We have no desire but to serve Krishna. We sometimes wonder. There is no other desire. Satatam and Nityashaha means always serving with no break for one's entire life without consideration of time and place constantly. Krishna is so pleased by such an attitude that he becomes sulabha, easy to obtain, even if one is not yet on that platform, but only desiring to reach it. So, even if we are not on that platform, but if we want to come to that platform, then Krishna is so pleased by such an attitude. Krishna removes all obstacles from such a devotee's path. A vivid example illustrating the importance of Ananya Cheta Bhakti is found in Lord Chaitanya's Leela. Once Lord Chaitanya went to evacuate. When he returned, he was holding his tongue. When the devotees saw this peculiar sight, they asked him why he was doing that. Mahaprabhu replied that his tongue was acting so improperly that he wouldn't stop chanting Hare Krishna, even when he was engaged in such a filthy activity. Therefore, he was forced to hold his tongue to restrain it. So he was like, yeah, evacuating. And at that time, he was holding his tongue because he was thinking it's a dirty activity. How can I chant while doing such a dirty activity? So he was holding his tongue, and then somebody's asked him, "Why you're holding your tongue?" So Lord Chaitanya said, "Oh, it is always chanting Hare Krishna." Therefore, he was forced to hold his tongue to restrain it, because in the bathroom and like that, wherever it's dirty, how can you chant Hare Krishna? At that time, and passing stool, right? At that time, a small boy named Gopal bravely spoke up. So one little boy came. Gopal said, "No, no, this isn't the correct philosophy. Krishna's names are pure and should be chanted at all times. For instance, if one were about to die, would he think, oh, this is an inauspicious, dirty time and therefore I shouldn't chant? No, at all times, regardless of the external purity of the situation, one should remember Krishna and chant his names." So, chanting of the holy name has no restriction. Niyamita smaranena kalaha. There is no time, place restriction for chanting Hare Krishna. Anytime, any place, one can chant Hare Krishna. So even if you have not taken bath or in the bathroom or whatever situation it is, sometimes at death we may be in the same on the bed for so many days, right? We are passing stool and urine there. We have not taken bath. Still we can chant Hare Krishna. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu replied, "You have properly understood the philosophy. You are my guru. You are Gopal Guru." Text 15 and 16 describe the result one achieves by practicing pure bhakti. So what happens one who practices pure bhakti? The famous verse, Dukkhalaya Masashvatam. Okay. So any comments anybody has on this verse?
Isn't that similar words, Prabhu? I think Yudhishthir Maharaj also said to who was that? Whose uncle? Vidura, right? That Tirthi Kurvanti Tirthani Sthena Gadam. Like the devotees, like good self, they are like holy places personified because you're carrying the Godhead within your heart. So you turn the places into pilgrimage.
Hmm. Yeah, Tirthi
So
Kurvanti, correct.
so
Yes.
all the places, because the Lord is wherever the which is, we say that if we in the house also, if we chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra, if we do the deity worship, to worship Tulsi Man is like a Vrindavan because Brinda Devi residing there. So it's all about consciousness, right? If your consciousness is Vrindavan consciousness, wherever you are.
Yes. You can be in that song also. What is that song? It says that you can get purified when you go to the Ganges and you take a bath. But just by seeing a pure devotee, one becomes purified just by the sight of a pure devotee. So Ganga may not come to us. We have to go to Ganga. But the pure devotees, they are merciful. They travel. They come. And when we see them, we become purified. A song like that. Yeah, here it is. এবারও করুণা করো বৈষ্ণব গোসাই পতিতা পাবন তুমা বিনয় কেহ নাই যাহারা নিকটে গেলে. So this is in place of Vaishnavas. পাপ দূরে যায় हे मोन दयाल प्रभु केबा कोथ पाय गंगार पराशा हुइले पाश्चाते पवन दर्शने पवित्र करो हे तुम्हारा गुण. Like that it says, O Vaishnav Goswami, please be merciful to me now. There is no one except you who can purify the fallen souls. Where does anyone find such a merciful personality by whose mere audience all sins go far away? After bathing in the water of the sacred Ganges many times, one becomes purified. But just by the sight of you, the fallen souls are purified. This is your great power. The holy name delivers one who has committed an offense to Lord Hari. But if one commits an offense to you, there is no means of deliverance. And then, Tumhara hriday sada Govinda Vishram. So, Krishna is there in your heart. Govinda ko he mora Vaishnava para. Your heart is always the resting place of Lord Govinda, and Lord Govinda says, the Vaishnavas are in my heart. I desire the dust of your holy feet in every birth I may take. Please consider Narottam yours and be kind upon him. Okay. So, where are we here?
Prabhuji, I have a question. Like here it is mentioned Jnana Yogi, Karma Yogi, and Hatha Yogi, right?
Yeah.
So, like what? There is somewhere there
So,
an
karma.
statement, but what is like pure devotee is called Bhakti Yogi? Like I, I don't know.
Yeah, bhakti can be mixed with desires for karma and jnana. So, in the definition of pure devotional service, it's described Anyabhilashita shunyam jnana karmadi anavritam anukulyena krishnanushilanam bhakti uttama. So, means our bhakti can be mixed with desire for liberation, impersonal liberation, or it can be mixed with desire for fruitive activities. So, karma mishra bhakti, like that. So, karma yogi is like something they want Krishna, but they're also attached to material enjoyment, like me. So we want Krishna, but we are also attached to so many other things for enjoyment, right, in this world. So that's like mixed devotional service. Then little bit higher than that, they want to become like one with the Lord. So that's a Jnana Yogi kind of. They are like they want liberation from this. They don't want to do anything here and enjoy in this material world because they have understood this is like not a nice place. It's like suffering. So they want to become one with the Lord. Like that. So and then Hatha Yogi or Ashtanga Yogi is like a little bit higher because now they want to see the form of the Lord. And then Bhakti Yogi means they want to serve the Lord. So there is different on the yoga ladder. There are different Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga, and Bhakti Yoga.
So yoga means the process, and the yogi who follows that process, right?
Correct.
Basically.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
Jnana
Thank you,
Yogi
Prabhuji.
follows Jnana Yoga. Yoga means linking with the Supreme, but that linking may not be like we have in Karma Yoga. We have two: Sakam Karma Yoga and Nishkam Karma Yoga. So like that. So I like to eat pizza. So what I will do, I will cook pizza and offer it to Krishna, and then I will eat pizza because I like pizza. So that is like
So the desire is with the desire comes within, right? That it is our desire that we want to eat pizza, that we make and offer it to Krishna, but
right.
not that Krishna wants it.
Yeah. I mean, you think, yeah, so let's say I'm doing some business and Krishna, I will give you this much money, but in return, you give me this much. If I make this much profit, I will give you this much. So, Sakam Karma Yoga. So, that's how people do, right? They go to the Lord, they ask, they do some service, and in return, they will, in many places, they will tie like some thread around some tree or something like that. They say, यहाँ पे हम सब मनोकामनाएं पूरी हो जाती है if you just ask something. So they will ask in their life what they want, something. If it's in relation to bhakti, it's good, right? I can ask, right? Okay, I want to be free from material desires, from lust, anger, greed. That's good because I want to become purified at heart. But if I ask something, other material things also, give me a nice car, Tesla car, then yeah, it's like, okay, you may need the car because you don't have a car and you need to drive around to go to the temple, then it's okay. But sometimes Krishna knows and he will give you what you want. Like, so without even asking, there's a prayer like that. Even as the child does not ask the parents, but the parents give whatever the child needs. So, Krishna, you similarly give me whatever you think is best for me. I will not ask. So, that is higher. But because sometimes what we may ask may not also be good for us, right? So, we can ask, but we don't know. They say if you want to make God laugh, then tell him all your plans. So, like that. So, but of course, we should be where we are. We cannot pretend that if you have some burning desire for something, then you can tell the Lord. Like Dhruva Maharaj, he had a burning desire, material desire. So he approached the Lord, and in the process, he became desireless. So, so that is also there. When we get higher taste, then normally we ask for some things of this world because we know that this is going to like be enjoyable for me. That's why we ask. So, but it may not be enjoyable for us also. We don't know how it will turn out. Like I may ask the Lord, please, I'm in India, and I say, Lord, please let me go to America. Please, there is Balaji visa, right? There's Balaji visa. Or Visa Balaji. You heard of that?
Chilkur Balaji temple. Yeah. I've been there, Prabhu, before coming to US. So I laughed. So
So that's why you came here, see? Visa Balaji fulfilled your desire. So yeah, but sometimes if you come to US, you don't see. It's very difficult to say what will happen in the US, and if something bad happens, then it may not be good also. So we ask the Lord, give me this, give me that, but we don't know how it will turn out here. Somebody can do something. Gun is very easily available here. So sometimes the Lord may not fulfill our desire. We don't know. So many things can happen. We don't know. But we ask according to what we think is going to give me happiness, right? So anyway, so best policy is to tell the Lord, you do whatever is best for me to bring me closer to you. So that is the thing. Give the reins of the chariot of your life in Krishna's hands. Like Krishna is driving Arjuna's chariot. So they say, Krishna, you drive the chariot of my life. I trust you. Then so I give you the charge. I will engage in devotional service, and then you decide what will happen to me. Like that, something. Okay, but we have to make some decisions also sometimes. So anyway, so next verse. So it's only 8 o'clock. I didn't realize it. We will just finish one more verse. We start a little late. Okay. मामुपेत्य पुनर्जन्म दुःखालयम शाश्वतम नाप्नुवन्ति महात्मानः संसिद्धिं परमां गतः. After attaining me, so those who are in pure devotional service, what happens to them? After attaining me, the great souls who are yogis in devotion never return to this temporary world which is full of miseries because they have attained the highest perfection. This is one place where Krishna says, talks about the material world, temporary material world, full of miseries. Since this temporary material world is full of miseries of birth, old age, disease, and death, yeah, all the hospitals are full of patients, doctors are doing good business. Since this temporary material world is full of the miseries of birth, old age, disease, and death, naturally he who achieves the highest perfection and attains the supreme planet, Krishna Lok, Golok Vrindavan, does not wish to return. So Krishna has used the adjectives in such a way that you may say it's nice. No, no, no. It's not miserable. Then Krishna says, Ashashvatam, it's temporary. Because everybody is going to die at some point, right? Today or tomorrow, everybody is going to die. So nobody has survived in the history, and we are not going to be an exception. So thinking that everything is temporary, my stay in this body is temporary, my body will burn on the funeral pyre one day, but I, as the soul, will continue to live beyond this body. So, considering the bigger picture, then one should act so that he does the highest good for himself. The supreme planet is described in Vedic literature as Avyakta and Akshara and Paramagati. In other words, the planet is beyond our material vision and it is inexplicable, but it is the highest goal. So we are saying we have to go to the spiritual world which we can't see, which is beyond our material vision. So where then the faith comes, right? It's a faith. Soul also we can't see, but it is the highest goal, the destination for the Mahatmas. You saw that video in which people are saying that they will find out where you are in your next life. And did anybody invest in that scheme? Janish, Charuta, did you invest in the scheme? Interlife, what is it called? Interlife Reincarnation Trust Management.
I've never
I saw
heard
that
about
message, but I
this.
didn't open it, Prabhuji. What was it about?
It's about interlife reincarnation trust management. So they are saying that you give us some money in this life and then we will find out where you are in your next life. And
That's
then,
bogus, Prabhuji.
huh? But they are
That would
saying
be
that,
bogus. Who's saying?
you think it's bogus?
Yeah.
You don't want to invest
Is
anything.
it?
So
Is
by
it?
chance, if we become poor in our next life, we become poor, then they will give
Mhm.
us the money.
Yeah, but from what we listen every day, and I have firm faith now that no matter how much money or even these people come up with schemes, but only balance that matter is the spiritual balance.
Let me show you this video. It's very nice.
Yeah. Okay.
You got 100 billion, and you are
Let me, I think we have to share it. Uh, so let's see.
you got 100 billion, and you are giving philanthropy, this, that, because charity will get you to heaven and whatnot. That is your tradition. Out of the 100 billion, you give 50 billion to us in trust to be given to you in your next life when we find you. Because it is possible you may be born very poor. Bill Gates may be born very poor. So if we can, within the rules of the Agama, locate where Bill Gates is next time and give him at least 5-10 billion, he'll be much happier. So this will be the world's first inter-life reincarnation trust management. Okay.
I think if we do little more research and establish the authority,
We can do that.
it is possible.
Yeah. So
Sure.
Okay.
Is this from Chinmay Mission?
No, I don't know where it is. Somebody sent it to me.
It's
Uh,
Nityananda, right?
yeah, that's why I asked.
bogus Swami. He has actually a separate country, island or something, where he established his kingdom.
Yeah, there are
Yeah,
so many
he
like
escaped there.
mhm, there are so many amazing videos that we can't even think of.
They should just try to find their parents first, you know. Yeah. And then, take them into shelter, feed them and whatever, and then we'll realize if they are really true.
Yeah. Anyhow,
Well,
I thought you might have invested. Okay.
I saw the title, but I didn't open it. This is already bogus from the title.
The Mahatma. So here, uh, here's Krishna is saying, yeah, they go to the highest destination, the highest goal. The Mahatmas receive transcendental messages from the realized devotees and thus gradually develop devotional service in Krishna consciousness and become so absorbed in transcendental service that they no longer desire elevation to any of the material planets, nor they even want to be transferred to any spiritual planet. They want only Krishna and Krishna's association and nothing else. So they are fixated on this. That is the highest perfection of life. This verse specifically mentions the personalist devotees of the Supreme Lord Krishna. These devotees are in Krishna consciousness. These devotees in Krishna consciousness achieve the highest perfection of life. In other words, they are the Supreme Soul. So sometimes Prabhupada would say, if you want to take up spiritual life and if you're not feeling inspired, you look at the problems in material existence, birth, death, old age, disease. Then you will feel like, oh, no, no, I don't want to stay here in this kind of situation. I want to go. So that's one place Prabhupada says that, like, yeah, unless one is pessimistic of the material existence, considering the distresses of birth, death, old age, and disease, there is no impetus to make spiritual advancement. Why we should chant Hare Krishna? Because ultimately, we don't feel any bad thing here. So we have to realize that we are in this very horrible kind of cycle, going through up and down, Brahmanda Brahmite. Sometimes we have become dog, we have become fish, we have become trees. And so, like that, when we realize that, then we will take up Krishna consciousness seriously. And knowing also that this life is also temporary. So let me invest in my eternal, my permanent. So, okay. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explains such devotees enter Krishna's pastimes and happily take birth when Krishna appears in the house of Vasudeva as his son. So first we go to the place where Krishna is performing his Leela in this material world, wherever he's doing. We don't directly go to the spiritual world. But Krishna is performing his pastime in some universe somewhere. So we go there and then take part in the Leela. And then that's how. Okay. So it's 1 hour. So we can stop here. The nice verses here in the 8th chapter. So any other comment from Sunil?
Prabhu, I had this question. They in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, we were talking about the holy dham. This verse is saying that the dust of the feet of a devotee, and then the water that has washed the feet of a devotee, and the remnants of the food left by a devotee are three very powerful substances. So how do you get these three, Prabhu? Like if you go to, like I feel like if you go to the dham, then you have more access to these things, like the dust of the, and then the water, because they all like this Mahakumbh right now. A lot of devotees are there washing their feet. Then you go and wash in the same water. I feel like that has more power than the actual water itself. Uh, don't you think, Prabhuji? Like,
Yeah, like Vraj Raj. Vraj Raj is like the same Raj, you understand. The dust of Raj is very potent because Krishna himself walked on that Raj, played in the Raj. And then there are so many devotees who are walking in that Raj. So many devotees take that dust of Raj or any holy dham, Jagannath Puri, wherever. So that's like, yeah, the dust from a lotus feet of a pure devotee, the water that is washed, and the remnants of the pure devotee means whatever they've eaten, you eat something that is left. These are 18 Mahabal. How does it start? Bhakta. What is the Bhakta, Bhukta, Vashesh, Tina Mahabal? Hmm. So, yeah, maybe wherever there are pure, Bhakta, Bhukta, Vashesh, Tina Mahabal. Uh, Bhakta Pada Dhuli or Bhakta Pada Jal. Bhakta Bhukta Vashesh Teen Mahabal. Yeah. So the pure devotees, remnants. That's how Narad Muni became pure devotee, right? He was eating the remnants of the great souls. So you have to find a pure devotee and eat, and then if you eat them, you get the qualities of that. Just like you get the germs of a TB patient if you eat food left by a TB patient. Maybe you may get, I don't know. So similarly, prasad also, this says it's the saliva of Krishna is mixed in the prasad. So when you eat prasad, then you get Krishna's qualities. You become Krishnaized. So that's the advantage. There is one pastime of that.
So the dham, so dham has lot more advantage, right? Like we were saying, like the Vrindavan can be anywhere for the devote, but for ordinary people, I think the dham has more value. Because we go there, there is so many, like there is hundreds of devotees compared to like one person. Having like somebody visits Columbus occasionally, but if you go to Vrindavan, you have hundreds of devotees. They are taking, they are like if you go to the Radha Kund, there's so many special personalities are almost daily they are visiting and touching the water. So you think there's a lot more benefit.
Yeah, a lot of people
Dham,
are coming from so many places. So like that. But you don't know who is pure, who is not pure, right? From Delhi also so many people are coming. It doesn't mean that because they are living in the dham, they are all pure devotees, right? So just by living in the dham doesn't make you completely pure devotee. It depends on your consciousness. So many people come from outside also visit the dham. So, so it is and no matter where you go, I mean, if the devotee is pure, right? Whether they are in the dham or they are anywhere. But in dham also so many things can go on. So that's how it is. Okay, so I will stop here. Is that answering your question?
yeah, yes, Prabhu. Yeah, like so. Yeah, I just wanted to know, like, how do you access these three things for
Yeah,
us?
so we have to
Day
find
to
a
day, like.
pure devotee. Who is a pure devotee and who is not, we cannot tell easily. Um, but we have to observe them like that and see their actions, their words, what they are speaking, what they are doing. Thinking you cannot tell from outside, but generally, whatever you're doing and what you're saying, speaking. So, like that, you can see if they're 24/7 engaged in service of the Lord, then they are pure devotees. So, you have to
Yeah,
observe
and
them.
if you visit the temple, I'm sure there is a lot of the dust of the devotees. They're walking bare feet in the
Uh,
temple, so you have access to that in the.
yeah, but so many people walk, so you don't know who is pure devotee, who is not pure devotee. Yeah, but many
But
devotees have walked. Many pure devotees have walked in that dust. Yeah, you could say like that. So it's valuable. Yeah.
yeah, because even if we find a pure devotee, if I ask them, can you give me the dust of your feet? I don't think they will give it to you, right? I mean, it's
But
just, I feel like that's.
but better than that is like to serve the pure devotee in the sense that to serve their instructions. It is not just like
Mm.
that you take the dust. That's good, but ultimately you have to follow the guidance. That's more important because that's going to change your life. Sometimes Prabhupada
But
said,
the verse doesn't say that, right? It's saying these three things are very
ah,
powerful.
that is there. Of course, that is there. Like a Narad Muni is an example of. But even if you take the remnants of a pure devotee, you may not be completely become purified immediately. So, like many people eat Raj Raj. Does it mean that anybody who eats Raj Raj has become completely purified in heart and they're free from material desires? Not necessarily. Uh, but it's, yeah, you can take, but the thing is, you have to also work towards it. It's not like some magical thing that it will happen immediately. It may happen, it may not happen, but still we may be. Then we have to see. Well, I've taken the dust of Raj. I've done this. I've taken dip in the Kumbh, right? Whatever. I've drunk the water from the Kumbh, but I may still do so many things. Like many people go to this Balaji, right? They shave their head, everything. They stand there, but they'll come and eat chicken afterwards. I had some friends like that. So it doesn't mean that they have like because they have done that, so it's now they're pure devotees. Okay, in future life they may become, but right now it's not like they're fully purified and they have no material desires. And you have to work towards it. You have to change your consciousness. Sometimes Prabhupada says Krishna did not touch Arjun on the head, and all the knowledge went and just, immediately all the knowledge. He asked so many questions, and there was a discussion, and then out of his own free will, he decided, no, no, I will surrender to you. So surrender is not a one-time thing; it's like a constant thing. So I may take the dust, but still I may not be surrendered to Krishna. I may do so many things which are against bhakti. I may still have so many material desires. It is good to take, but it doesn't mean that one becomes immediately. It's a if one takes and then there is consistency in his life that he becomes like completely purified and he becomes engaged in fully devotional service, then we can say yes. So that is also something to. But we should take. I'm not saying we should not take. But then we have to also consistently practice chanting Hare Krishna. So I've taken the dust of Raj, but I'm not chanting Hare Krishna. I'm not reading the scriptures. I'm not associating with devotees. Instead, I'm going to the nightclub or doing this and that. So, but I've taken dust from Raj. So that is also something to consider. Let's say. Is that okay or is it not?
Yeah, Prabhu. Yeah, yeah. It's like like I have gotten like tulsi seeds sometimes at my home. I planted them very nicely. But the tulsi plant did not survive. I put water. Did my like so the dust probably it's like that. You get access to the seed, but sometimes it just did not fructify or um,
Basically, you have to make
at least.
endeavor. You have to make endeavor, and you have to consciously like make the choice to surrender to Krishna. It's not automatically something will not happen just on its own. It's like a conscious choice that you make because you have your free will, and as long as you are not surrendering to Krishna by your own free will, then it's not considered like. So you like you have the choice, right? Every moment is a choice. So it's not like one time I went and I just dipped in the kumbh, so I'm done. No, it's a constant thing, right? Afterwards, what you are doing, so many days of your life will be, so many years are there in your life. So it has to be a constant thing. it's not like surrender is not an event that just happens once and I'm done. No, it's a constant thing. So that's what I'm trying to say. That doesn't mean we don't take, no, yeah, we holy water, but it's a consistent event every moment. And even if you don't go to the Kumbh, you just chant Hare Krishna in your home, you'll get the same benefit. Even, yeah, or you hear Krishna Katha, then you get much. There's a verse like that. Gokotidanam grahane khagasya prayag kangodaka kalpavasah yagnayutam meru suvarnadanam govinda kirtirnas samam shatanshay. Let me give you those. Gokotidanam grahane khagasya. You give millions of cows in charity. This is, let's see which verse is this. You see, I'm putting here in this. Gokotidanam grahane honors eclipse. If you give millions of cows in charity, or you live at the confluence of Ganga and Yamuna, means you are at Prayag for millions of years. Prayag means that. Gangodaka kalpa vashaha. You live there, you take bath, everything. Yagyayutam meru suvarnadaram. You give, in Yagya, you give a mountain of gold in charity like Meru. Govinda kirtir nasamam. Nasamam means not equal. 1/100th. Even if one distributes 10 million cows in charity during an eclipse of the sun, lives at the confluence of Ganges and Yamuna for millions of years, or gives a mountain of gold in sacrifice to the Brahmanas, he does not earn 1/100th part of the merit derived from chanting Hare Krishna. In a, so we cannot equate Hare Krishna to any kind of this pious activity. That's what. Of course, this is also spiritual. I mean, to bathe in kumbh or like that, but you have to serve a pure devotee is more valuable than anything else. So to engage in devotional service. So many people go there and then, afterwards what they are doing, we have to also see that. But it is good, at least once we have taken prasad or once. That's good. Okay. So that's one. Okay.
Yeah, and it's also good to go with a group of devotees too, right, Prabhuji?
Yeah, to holy
It's
places.
even
Yeah.
better.
Best is to go and hear from the devotees. So main thing is to go to the
And
holy
then
place.
chant.
Yeah, is to hear. So that you will understand. Otherwise you will not understand the dham, what it is and what is the actual place and what that thing will not happen. Because in dham so many things are there, so much traffic and so many things going on. So one time Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was in Vrindavan and everybody went on parikrama and then went around all the temples and saw. And Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was speaking, but they chose to go and visit all the different places. Whereas our Srila Prabhupada, he sat down and he heard the class from Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. So Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, after everybody came from that, visiting all the temples, he said, "How was the eye exercise?" He said, like something like that. How was the eye exercise? So, but hearing is the most important thing. Hearing, we have to hear. Because if we see, but if we cannot understand much, but when we hear, we get the realization of the great souls. So, when we hear from those pure devotees, that's very important. Okay, so we will end here. Yeah, nice questions. We can discuss more next time.
Yeah, last thing, Prabhu, yesterday one Mataji was saying, Shakti Radhika Mataji, or she, I think you left yesterday, she was saying that all her blood pressure readings and some health problems got resolved. She in Mayapur, she was telling. So I just thought that was interesting. When she mentioned in
Yeah.
the evening classes today.
Hmm.
And she was surprised by that. Like it seems the doctor told her, don't take your blood pressure try to reduce the dose.
Oh, nice. Yeah, Dham has potency. So that is there. If you go to Dham, you can get so much more mercy. If you are in association of devotee, but you can also do Dham Aparad also, so many things. So,
Yeah, they even say, just think about the dham. Like, you don't have to go there, but even if you just think about Vrindavan, that's also good. Like, if you
actually,
just,
actually, our
even if you come back,
yeah,
mind is still there.
correct. Prabhupada said that every temple is Vrindavan also. So, if you think Vrindavan is also consciousness, Vrindavan consciousness means putting Krishna in the center, and I'm serving Krishna, and that's the Vrindavan consciousness. You can be in Vrindavan, but you can be in different consciousness, and you can be out of Vrindavan, and you can be in Vrindavan consciousness. So Vrindavan is a place where the consciousness is to serve Krishna. So in the temple like that, it's a Vrindavan consciousness because everything is ultimately for Krishna. So like that. So you can be anywhere in Vrindavan consciousness. As you were saying, yeah, you can think of the Dham and all the holy places in the Dham. And Dham is only revealed when we serve, right? In mood of service. So here also, if you serve, your home can become a Dham. If you have wherever there is Tulsi, that's Vrindavan because Tulsi is Vrinda Devi. So like that.
Yeah, thank
Okay.
you, Prabhu.
Okay. Hare Krishna. Thank you.